Got the North with Rupert Bell and former jump jockey Lizzie Kelly, featuring live horse milk sampling.
Live horse milk sampling, that will
Lovely.
be coming up a little bit later on.
Staying at John Joe O'Neill's dairy.
Yeah, that's it. 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul, and welcome to Joao Felix.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
What's mad is there's been a long debate about whether, on the Chelsea fan sites, about whether he's good enough. Is he good? Is he not good? Is he a great... It's completely irrelevant. It's nothing about Joao Felix.
Yeah.
What this is about is not addressing your needs. What's the point of buying this player? I worked it out. When they came in, these people, we had a pretty decent team. We just won the World Club Championship. We had a good manager. We had a bit of a turmoil, but we desperately needed a great goalkeeper and a top striker.
Yeah,
1.2 billion later, we still need a great goalkeeper and a top striker. That is such an indictment of these people. What I don't understand is they run a sports franchise, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Now, if the Dodgers need pitchers, do they go and sign 3 shortstops and 2 first basemen? Is that what they do?
I've got no idea.
Do not
Don't shout
understand.
at me. It's got nothing to do
but
with
I
me.
don't understand this. It's so... There's something about it that's not right. It doesn't feel right. And it's a real turn-off for the fans. It's all... someone going, he's a wonderful footballer. He's all right. But, we've seen his faults. We've seen his failures.
Yeah.
He couldn't settle at Atletico. He didn't do anything in our league. He basically didn't
Terry
do anything
Gibson,
in
we
Spain.
were talking to Terry Gibson yesterday about it, and he didn't sound completely 100% sure.
Well, because he's not anything. He's not a winger. He's not. We don't need a number 10. How many
like a
number
Swiss
10s?
Army knife.
How many number 10s do you need?
You've
They're
been
basically
linked to
going into this season with Nicholas Jackson, who can't stop being offside,
Yeah.
and a boy who's 18 who should be playing in the under 21s.
You've been linked to Jadon Sancho. We're going to talk about this
No,
later.
that's a load of old rubbish.
You reckon?
The thing is, you
You are
because-
lacking in that position.
Yes, because they've turned the club into such a laughing stock.
Right.
And now I could say to you, well, they're looking at Anthony of
Yeah.
United, and that would suddenly be the rumour. Now I've just said it. That'll probably pop up at some
You think
website.
that's what happens?
I think they're open for that. But they need a striker. They've got to buy a proper striker, and I just don't understand the thinking. I mean, that's what I'd say to them. When you recruit for your baseball team, do you recruit like this? You don't. So what are you doing? What on earth?
It'd be nice to get one of the sporting directors on, but they don't seem massively keen, Andy. I mean, they're fearing a bit of a shoeing from
all those
I
long
guess.
contracts they keep doling out. I don't think they'll be there that long. I've got a feeling. And I'm telling you, this has to work on the pitch fairly quickly for Maresca. Otherwise, there is going to be... I'm not inciting it, but I'm telling you, there's going to be trouble. The fans are not going to be happy. And I told you, these owners will not be able to go to that ground if it doesn't improve, because they'll get the blame.
I think we might have a Glazers situation.
Well, I think we will. I'm almost certain that we will,
Right.
But look, it might work on the pitch, and that's all there is. I worry about Maresca, though. He's sort of, he's so towing the company. You can see why they signed him. He's talking about Joao Felix. He goes, the good thing about Joao is he can play different positions, out wide, inside, and a number 9. That's why we've done this deal. You think, no, that isn't why you've done this deal. You did it to get the Gallagher deal over the line. It seems to me that they can't sell a player without buying from the club they're selling to. What sort of sense is that? Ian Matson was worth 30 million to 35 million of anybody's money. He's a very good player, right? Played in the Champions League final. But they couldn't get a deal done with Villa without buying Kellerman for 19 million. Never heard of him, and he'd probably never play for Chelsea. Why couldn't you just sell Ian Matson?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. I do not understand this stuff. As Fred Truman would say, I don't know what's going off out there.
Yeah.
You don't. It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care what anybody says about this great master plan, but nobody can work out what it is.
Yeah, I've seen a few in the know financial footballing in the knows kind of rationalising it. But
the long contracts, I can see that. Because you just, and it doesn't make it, it actually makes it easier to get rid of players because they're on less money. Although they're on it for longer. But, I don't know. And you wonder the effect on Cole Palmer by having all these. His best position really is as a number 10, I think.
There was a story earlier on saying Adebayo had been left out of the Conference League squad because of an administrative error, so he's back in. But I suppose when you've got that many players to deal with, you just can't keep on top of it.
It's just amateur hour. The whole thing's amateur
like a
hour.
Marx Brothers film.
When they failed, when they couldn't get rid of Ziyech because the fax machine didn't work or something like that. It's absolutely amateur hour. How can they?
Oh, well.
How can you go into a season and not have a sponsor?
The producer was reminding me yesterday. Who was it against Fulham? It was a game he got sent off in, Joao Felix.
His first game.
He was brilliant before that.
Oh no,
he
absolutely
played brilliantly.
Oh yeah, for 35 minutes he was excellent. Then he got sent off,
and then he was never quite the same again.
No, because he missed 3 games.
Yeah, a couple of things to get you going on.
Yeah.
One is,
as I say, it's not about whether he's a good footballer. No, it's about whether you need him or not.
Yeah, no, that's fair play. So a couple of things to get you going on. One is, as we said at the top, what broke your fall? Sir Ian McKellen did have a bit of a nasty fall from the stage doing the Player Kings in the theatre in the West End. Love. And playing Falstaff. Luckily for him, playing Falstaff. Yeah. Fell off the stage. He just still chipped a vertebrae, fractured his wrist. You know.
Yeah.
But he said it could have been a whole lot worse unless he had all the Falstaff padding to break his fall.
I wish I'd been wearing a fat suit when I fell over.
Yeah, he would have been all right.
I've got my normal body. Yeah. That's quite similar, really.
Yeah. I mean, you got that little cannonball down the front of your shirt you often wear.
I can't get rid of it.
I know. A bit of a derby going on. So, what broke your fall? We're interested in what broke your fall today. Let us know. talkSPORT.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717223344. What broke your fall? Was it a fat suit? I mean, it seems unlikely. In the Times diary today was a nice little story. Yeah. And we've got an old clip along these lines. I think we're going to be able to play you very shortly. But it was not knowing what to call somebody when you meet somebody with a title. And then sometimes getting it hopelessly wrong because you're trying so hard. This was the Queen. Apparently, it was an old story from a mayor of Wigan in days of yore. Met the Queen. She came up to Wigan, and they were having lunch. Mid-lunch, the mayor of Wigan said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what to call you." And she replied, "Well, you can call me ma'am, or you can call me Your Majesty, but it hardly matters as you've called me love 3 times already," which is a great story. But sometimes in life you don't know what to call someone, especially maybe someone of rank. And we may remember back in the day of Patrick Kinghorn, Tony Cascarino were joined by a senior ranking police officer. And I don't know, I think they probably did have a pretty good handle on what to call him.
Chief Superintendent Ian Johnson, Vice President of the Police Superintendents Association, joins us now. And I understand, Chief Superintendent, that you've been working.
Chief Superintendent, had you ever envisaged any problems?
Have you got the power, Chief Superintendent? I mean,
Chief Superintendent, I can feel for you because I can't see what you can do if...
I tell you what, Chief Superintendent, I went... Chief Super, before we let you go... Well, listen, thanks for joining us, Chief Superintendent Ian Johnson, Vice President of the Police
Superintendents, yeah,
that's Christmas.
The chief superintendent. Yeah, fabulous. Was he a sergeant? I've never quite worked out what rank the fellow was. So, not knowing what to call somebody, we'd like to hear those from you this afternoon. 03717223344, talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH and J. And as we've said, what broke your fall? The weird, wonderful things that maybe broke your fall in the Sir Ian McKellen envelope. Let's have your stories. So, coming up in the first hour, we're going to be joined by Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly to set the scene from York Races. It's the Ebor Festival. Got some brilliant racing. The Juddmonte, big feature race a little bit later on in the afternoon, but 4 races a day for the next few days. And, yeah, I think there'll be some sampling of mare's milk, horse's milk, which is apparently all the rage. Quite expensive, but a good alternative, lower in fat than cow's milk. So we'll see what... I think if Lizzie's ever tried it before, as an owner of horses and mares. Rupert, they're all going to try it on air, so we'll find out. The great Bill Bailey joins us, comedian, QPR fan. He's going to get us fit from the sofa, if we've all been inspired by the Olympics. He'll tell us more about that. So we said our 4 live races. Later on, we're doing transfers. Tom Davis of Sheffield United joins us. Got a very interesting business he's got involved in, as we said. You'd never guess. If you've read about it, fine, but wow, you'd never guess. And Nick Shapanik's going to join us to talk Brighton and their relative big spending in the summer. And Tim Vicker is here. And we'll keep you in touch with the cricket, of course, when they're back out. 80 for 5, Sri Lanka. But a tough old morning for them. They won the toss.
Conditions are difficult.
Won the toss, decided to bat, but the ball was doing a bit from early on, wasn't it, really? So it was maybe it was a good toss to lose.
I've never seen a ball keep that low on the first morning of a test.
They've got some pretty tidy spinners, of course.
Yeah, their strength is their batting.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, we'll keep you in touch with that. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Celebrate the start of the Premier League season with Toolstation's brand new loyalty programme, the Toolstation Club. You'll get 5% off every order.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.